Hey guys, and welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful day, had a wonderful day, or about to start the day, depending on when you're watching this video. So before we dive into today's herbs, I kind of have to show you something I'm a little excited about. So there are now new labels on my soaps. So I think they're very easy to read. We renamed some of the traditional ones, but I used Avery's pre-cut round labels, right? They were easy, they looked nice, they worked really well with what I was trying to do, but over the years, I started noticing something. Packages were getting smaller and the prices kept going up. And every time I was just paying for more and more and getting less. So I finally reached the point where I had to ask myself a question. Do I keep buying more expensive labels or do I learn how to make these things myself? So when we're already overwhelmed, what do? We put more on top of us. So I decided to learn. And I'll be honest, there was a learning curve. Printer settings, experiment with different papers, different layouts, different ways of putting everything together. Definitely made a few mistakes. Trash can got pretty full. Sorry, trees. But every label you see behind me now is one designed and printed by myself. And I'm kind of proud of that with everything else I've got going on. So my labels are not perfect, but they represent growth, right? So one of the things I have always believed that if I'm asking you to keep supporting little business, then I should be doing everything reasonably I can to keep my prices fair. Life is expensive enough, right? Groceries are more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Almost everything costs more than it did just a few years ago, right? So if I can learn a new skill that helps keep my costs down instead of passing those increases along to my customers, well, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. So thank you. Whether you've purchased a bar of soap, a candle, one of my herbal products, or whether you're simply here every week learning alongside me every day, watching me fret through herbs, I appreciate every single one of you. Your support allows me to keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing what I love to do. Now, enough about labels, even though I'm proud of them. And let's talk about why you're really here. So, today's herb is Passionflower. Now, if you've spent any time reading about herbs online, you've probably seen Passionflower described as the sleep herb. Apparently, I don't need any. So, while it certainly can help support a healthy sleep system, right? It's actually a bit of a simple oversimplification, right? Passionflower is so much more interesting than that. One of the first things I have to stop doing, right, is matching that herb to symptom, right? That's what we're trying to unlearn, right? We're going to ask questions, right? So, why are you not sleeping? What is actually happening? Is the body tired but your mind won't stop? Is there constant mental chatter? Are you overwhelmed, right? I could probably answer yes to that one some days. Anxious, unable to turn your thoughts off, right? Or is this just simply someone who falls asleep fine but can't stay asleep, right? So there's different roads, right? So different situations are going to often most times require different herbs, just like different people, right? So that's why Passionflower is going to get its own little conversation. So let's start with the plant itself. Passionflower is known botanically as Passiflora incarnata. It's a beautiful climbing vine native to southeastern United States, although it's now grown in many other parts of the world. If you've seen one blooming, it's almost hard to believe it's real. The flowers are incredibly intricate with layers of white and purple petals surrounding a unique crown-like center. Interestingly enough, the name Passionflower does not refer to emotions. It comes from early Christian missionaries who believed different parts of the flower symbolize the passion of Christ. So that's kind of an interesting reason of how this flower got its name. So, and it became very recognizable. So once you learn it, you always know it when you see it. Medicinally, we primarily use the aerial portions of the plant, so that means leaves, stems, flowers, right, are harvested while the plant is actively growing. Now, let's talk about why herbalists love this plant. Passionflower is considered a relaxing nervine. That means it helps support it calms the nervous system without forcing a sedation. So think of it this way. Imagine your brain is running 50 browser tabs open at once. You're exhausted. Your body's begging for sleep. Your mind just keeps jumping from one thought to the next. You remember something you forgot to do yesterday. Then tomorrow's schedule pops up with everything you have to do. Or maybe you remember a conversation at work and maybe you realize that you forgot to do something. And so you're trying not to get out of bed and you do those things and you just want to go to sleep. But your brain is like, not today. So this is where Passionflower is going to often shine. Traditionally, herbalists have reached for Passionflower when someone just cannot quiet their thoughts. So when the nervous system feels overstimulated, when stress has become the constant background noise to your life, when restlessness makes it difficult to truly relax. Now, this doesn't mean it's the right herb for everybody. And that's exactly why we just don't memorize herbs, right? We study people. Herbalism really is the study of people. Botanism is the study of plants. But let's talk chemistry for just a minute. Passionflower contains several flavonoids, right? There's vita-ixin, isovita-ixin, apenogen derivatives, like all of those big long words, right? Amount of alkaloids, other plant compounds, right? Like all that type of stuff, right? So together, those constituents are believed to contribute to Passionflower's traditional calming effects on the nervous system. This is also a great example of something you'll hear me say often, right? Plants don't work because of one magical component. Plants are incredibly complex, right? Their chemistry works together. That's one reason whole herbs often behave differently than isolated constituents, right? So let's talk about preparation. Can you make Passionflower as a tea? Absolutely. A tea is wonderful for someone looking for gentle daily nervous system support. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable, right? I'm always going to go to the teas first because they're easier, right? Like most of us, when we realize that something's coming on, we don't have 6 weeks to prepare a tincture, right? So you get your tea, it's warm. It just kind of helps set the mood. But Passionflower also makes an excellent tincture for those that want to prime themselves for later. All right, so if someone needs something convenient through the day or wants a more concentrated preparation, a tincture is probably going to be your better choice. Remember, neither one is better than the other. It's just about what you will simply use and do, right? Different tools in the toolbox. So one of the biggest mistakes beginning herbalists make is asking, right, which preparation is stronger? The better question is, which preparation best fits the person in this situation, right? That's what we're trying to undo here. Now, let's compare Passionflower to another herb we'll be talking about very soon, valerian. People often assume that they're interchangeable. They are not. Some people absolutely love valerian. Others do not tolerate it at all, right? Some people even experience what's called a paradoxical reaction and actually feel more alert instead of more relaxed. So I've met people who can't use valerian but do wonderfully with Passionflower, right? And that's one of the reasons I wanted to cover Passionflower first, because it helps us understand that all calming herbs are not the same. Each one has its own personality, just like us. Each one has its own chemistry, well, just like us. And each one has situations where it may be more appropriate, and that's what makes herbalism so fascinating. There's always something to learn. Been studying it for years, taken master herbalist classes, still learning, right? So Passionflower is so much more than a sleep herb, right? It's a relaxing nervine traditionally used to support an overstimulated nervous system. We typically use the aerial portions of the plants, and it can be prepared as both a tea and tincture. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us to ask why before choosing an herb. That simple question will make you a better herbalist than memorizing lists ever will. So, because we talked about passionflower, our next herb is going to be valerian. And we'll compare the two herbs, discussing why valerian smells the way it does, why some people love it while others do not. We'll explore one of the most misunderstood herbs in the nervous system category. And if you've enjoyed today's lesson, I'd love for you to subscribe and join me as I continue talking through the madness of plants and why we use them. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. Until next time, guys, stay rooted, stay curious, and as always, keep growing in grace.